Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Live from the Chair with Big Money Exchange. Today, we are joined by the folks of Relentless Pro Wrestling. But before we get into the interview, we're all friends of Mike Martinez. And as we've brought up on this podcast, and they brought up in their press conferences before, we're all friends of Hansel. So at the moment, I'd like to introduce Ben Raymond, Bear, and Billy Bonds from Relentless Pro Wrestling, along with my host, Nathan Noss, and the co-host, everybody knows and loves, sometimes, Big Money Dodge. So right now at the point, I'd like to turn this over to the Relentless guys to talk about Hansel, and then we'll get into our interview.
Well, from what we heard about Hansel, he is in Mexico City now, and we just want and need him to come home already. And Mike's torn up about it, and if anybody knows or anybody sees or has any information, I'm pretty sure you've seen the pictures, anything, all the information out there. Just try to get in contact with Mike Martinez or try to get in contact with the police and just give us all some help, you know?
Yeah, like Bear said, the last thing any of us heard, Hansel is in Mexico City, but we've known or largely suspected he was in Mexico for some time now. And even that specific update on Mexico City is a few days old. What I do know personally is that Mike Martinez has pretty much shelved his entire life and everything important to him right now, because there is nothing more important to him, Marcella, to all of us than Hansel and getting Hansel back home safe with his family and where he belongs. So while we're going out here, we did the same thing during our press conference for our upcoming show a week or so ago. This thing, if it's not viral by now, it definitely needs to go viral. Everyone needs to see this. Share this with everyone you know. Everybody keep your eyes open, and let's get Hansel home where he belongs.
All right, now to kick off the questions, as much as I am regretting this, Big Money Dodge.
Hello, boys.
Big dirty smudge in the house.
Why, hello to you, Billy, sir.
So you got more counterfeit money in front of you, eh?
Oh my God!
That's your life savings right there in your hand, right? That's it, right? That's all of it.
This is what you owe Jimmy. So, may I ask the very first question? And God, I'm gonna regret this. Why is C Love against the TikToker Mikey O'Shea?
I can't decide who you're trying to insult more there, but I'll let Bear and Ben please weigh in on this.
Well, I don't know, because let's see, we didn't want any of your guys in that position.
No.
And Ben, unless you have something.
Well, it's very much all right. Everyone knows at our last show, Jimmy Mayhem and Mikey O'Shea had what can only be described as a all-out brawl in the ring, out of the ring, that we physically had to get involved in. Bear and I had to step up to separate the competitors. And Jimmy, unfortunately, has some issues that will keep him out of our tournament, which we're glad Jimmy's back and around. But as of right now, Jimmy was not participating in the tournament. C-Love, who is a little bit unknown from San Diego, unknown to a lot of Orange County fans, a lot of LA fans, has stepped up, and he said he will go ahead and take on the Irish Juggernaut, Mikey O'Shea. They have had dealings in the past where they've been in the same locker room. They've never faced one-on-one in the ring.
They've actually even shared a ring. They just weren't one-on-one.
Okay. So this is the sleeper match of the card. This is the one that will either make or break C Love physically, mentally, etc., etc.
Sleeper is actually a great word for this because while C Love is largely unknown to us, he is the underdog, the wild card, one of two maybe in this particular tournament. But he has 15 years of experience and battle inside that squared circle. Like I said at our press conference when we were picking favorites, my underdog potential come from behind winner is C Love.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does have a lot to prove. That's one thing. But that's another thing is that he has the heart to prove it as well. And that's why they call him C Love.
Hear, hear.
And from what I remember, Dodge, you got knocked on your ass because you got involved.
Oh
So
my
what's
God,
the
are we
difference?
going to bring that up?
Oh, it's kind of hard to bypass, and it was pretty too.
We go to
I'm
the
glad
tape,
you
but
guys enjoyed it.
Well, we go to the tape, but it's still in the vetting process for America's Funniest Home Videos.
But there is
We think
tape.
you're going to win us the money, and you don't need it anyway, so we're all good. We're going to split it between us.
The world will get to see you knocked on your ass gloriously. Next question.
Next
It wouldn't be the first time he got knocked on his ass.
No,
This is the first time it goes viral, though.
But,
We'll follow up to that first
Yes.
question. We'll follow up to that point. Before you send it to America's Funniest Videos, can you send it to Nathan and I so we can laugh our asses off first before everybody else sees it?
only
Yeah,
if
no
you
problem.
promise to be a big part of the sharing process.
We can do that.
We
But
can do that,
my
definitely.
question to that video is: are you going to have like a doing sound effect as he hits the chair? You know, so
we will now.
It's not needed. That's the sound of a springy ass hitting the ground, anyways.
Or the slow motion as he's flying.
Yeah, it was.
No, it's gonna be the wah wah wah.
It was actually more of a thud, but the audio is already there au naturel.
Okay.
Still hurts.
I'll take the next one. Let's do the Jordan Oasis and God King.
Ooh, boy. All right. You guys wanna try
Well,
your hand at that?
God King's been on a roll lately. He's just been rolling through, and he's been slamming and bamming all over SoCal. So I mean, I don't know. Oasis is gonna have his hands full, but Oasis is very talented. So I think this is gonna be kind of even, to be honest with you. What do you think, Ben?
Gentlemen, I'm not sure how familiar the three of you are with Jordan Oasis, because he is not a SoCal guy. He has made appearances in Southern California, but he is based in Vegas, and he has made his name in Las Vegas. He is coming to Southern California to try and take what is going to become the region's preeminent heavyweight title.
Oh, beautiful description.
And I think that he has a good chance at it, but there's a reason he's known as the God King. And the God King can withstand any storm. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, real quick, talking about the God King withstanding a storm. Bear and I had the opportunity just early yesterday evening, to see the God King and one of our other participants, Mr. Duke Lawrence, in the main event at a show out there in the high desert. And you want to talk about something that doesn't happen. Duke Lawrence gave the God King a pile driver on the planks. He had managed to pull the canvas and the padding away from a corner, and he gave God King a pile driver straight to the lumbar. Now it finished the match. I mean, duh, right? But God King was ambulatory and smiling in only the way that God King can 45 minutes later. I mean, yeah, that's all I got.
If you look in the
Well,
chat,
that's the one thing about God King. When he puts that war paint on, he just keeps going.
if you notice it in the comments there, Mr. Duke Lawrence said he smoked the God King.
I don't know about that. We could spend this podcast on that match. I'll just give a real quick and dirty version. It started out as a regular match. It was actually the first tournament match in their own heavyweight championship out there. And Mr. Lawrence won and will advance to whenever the second round of their tournament is. But oh yeah, no, I totally lost my train of thought, which is always great live. It started out as a regular traditional match. Duke Lawrence actually hit the God King with a chair in what became to the audience an apparent move to get disqualified and further himself from any potential punishment. He did not care that he had lost a tournament match. He was halfway back to the locker room when the match was restarted as no DQ, and then he pulled it out. So there's a little pop for both of our competitors. Apologies, gentlemen, because we hadn't gotten to Mr. Lawrence yet, but that story tells itself.
Well, Duke Lawrence is so big, he just pops up anywhere, you know. You can't help but notice Duke Lawrence in the room.
Exactly. All right, Nate.
So let's talk about Twisted versus Vito Fratelli.
Well,
Go
ahead, Ben.
The guy with the Monopoly money has something to say.
Oh, no. This is going to be one of my favorites. I really want to know about this one. Vito and Twisted. Whew.
Well, it's a semi against a tractor. Put it that way. One of the dozer tractors. That's what you could come out to. What this match will be. I think it's going to be a drag down, knuckle brawling. Just everybody's getting slammed once or twice, and
well,
Vito is still my favorite in this one.
Back in the day, traditionally, I don't know if they still do it. I've sort of let my boxing fandom slip, but back in the day in boxing, the totality of the weights of the two competitors was referred to as the tonnage of a match. If ever a term were more appropriate. I don't even have the numbers in front of me, but the tonnage of Twisted and Vito Fratelli by itself is well, huge.
My money is on Vito.
Let's talk about this a little bit because
Let's talk about it.
Dodge is aware that our venue, the amazing American Legion Post,
Beautiful place
there in the city of Orange, has an underground bar. It's called the Club Room officially. By the end of this tournament, they're going to have to rename it the Bomb Shelter because of all the noise coming from above of these men, and in particular, just Vito versus Twisted, landing on the canvas and on the ring, sounding like a bomb is being dropped on that floor, and all the folks down below going, "What in the hell is going on?" So that's going to be a really, really loud match.
They're going to be sweeping up plaster by the time the night's over.
Yeah. Filling tiles will be lost.
Now, there's something very, very important to note and take account for in this match in regards to Twisted. Twisted is joining us out from Arizona. And as you know, we've beat the drum from the beginning that this is the SoCal Heavyweight Championship Tournament. It just so happens Twisted is the Southern Arizona Heavyweight Champion currently, like at least as of today. I don't know if he's got any defenses between now and July 22nd or whether he'll still have that title or not, but the Southern Arizona Heavyweight Champion current is gunning for the SoCal Heavyweight Championship.
So that makes two folks from outside of SoCal coming for our SoCal belt. Our
Closing
SoCal
in.
Heavyweight title. Title.
They are closing in.
So
All right,
I'm.
Dodge, if you can be nice, you can ask your question.
I was going to be nice until you interrupted me.
Well, I would
So-
say you could pay for the question, but then you'd have to give them that fake money that you have up on your hands, and nobody would want that to begin with.
My question to you three amigos, stooges, whatever you want to call yourselves. Savannah Stone versus J-Rod. How did this come upon, and what's up with J-Rod?
I'm going to jump in here on this one real quick. So, our last show, Savannah Stone, Jada Vanity are our main event.
Yep.
They had an incredible match. But after the match, Savannah Stone is complaining that the Vanity Twins were going 2-on-1 versus her, that she had no one there with her. But then on top of that, she comes and as she leaves, she assaults me. She slaps me in the chest.
Smart
complaining
girl.
about that.
Smart girl. Smart girl.
Then as she goes outside, our good friend Rob from Coffin Radio tries to get a word with her, and she puts her hand in his face and pushes him back. So J-Rod is the definition of pure athleticism. She is someone who has that it factor and who is making a huge name for herself. She has graduated from Knox Pro University. She is their current women's champion. She also has wrestled on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, just like Savannah Stone. So J-Rod's coming in to try and give a little humility and to try and break the unbreakable one, Savannah Stone.
I'm very proud of her putting her hands on you, Mr. Ben.
Are you living vicariously through a legit badass there, Dodge? That kind of seems to be your MO.
Well, you know why he's proud? Because you would never have the nerves. So it seems like she has bigger balls than Dodge, but most people do.
There's another distinction for this match. I was actually waiting to see if either of my esteemed colleagues arrived at it. Ben got real close. These two are familiar with each other in a number of areas and in a number of proximities. They have never wrestled. They have never competed in the ring against each other.
Wow.
So,
That should be good.
So Nathan, I wonder if there's enough in our account to get Miss Savannah to pay Mr. Dodge a visit after she's done with her match.
You know what?
you would of course run this live or at the very least tape it, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. And I can be very convincing, so I'm pretty sure we could work something out.
I don't know. Most people would slap Dodge across the face for free. So
Thinking it.
That's true.
Maybe we need to talk to this girl then.
Sounds like an idea to me.
Hey, okay, Nathan, go ahead and ask a question, bud.
So let's talk about the Duke Lawrence match.
Okay.
Considering that Duke Lawrence is in the chat in the comment section, let's do that.
All right.
So
Me? Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
sorry about that.
Yeah. Duke Lawrence, in our announced first round matches, Duke Lawrence will be taking on Biggie Biggs. Now, in these two competitors, this is a living dichotomy. Duke is younger, less experienced. He is taller, probably all around larger, which is quite a feat when you're across the ring from Biggie Biggs, but they call him Big Duke Lawrence for a reason. But Biggie,
Good old Biggie.
23 years of squared circle combat. However, in that time, unlike his opponent, Biggie Biggs has never held or achieved or obtained a singles title of any kind. He has a horrific and terrific tag team history, and he's fought wars in rings up and down the coast in any kind of division, tag team, singles, death match, whatever. He's never held a singles title in 23 years. In what I believe to be the neighborhood of 2 to 3 years of experience, Duke Lawrence has held at least one singles title.
Well, I think in this one you got you like I said, you got the old lion against the young lion. But the thing is that I believe that Biggie has more staying power than Duke. Because he could take it to the mat, he could take it on. We've seen him in matches that just last forever, and Biggie seems like he just keeps on popping back up. He has that heart, and Biggie's doing it for more than himself. He's doing it for his family because he's a family man. And Biggie always puts it out there. He always shows it, and we're gonna see little man in the ring sooner or later when he gets old enough. So Biggie's gonna take this one from Lawrence. I guarantee it.
Really?
I hate saying this, but I agree with the bear. Just saying.
Whoa, this is recorded.
First time we hit eyes.
What?
That's on tape now, right?
I'm sorry. Can we edit that?
Well, okay. I want to go back here a little bit. I want to touch on something that Billy said that, in my mind, gives Biggie the edge over Duke. And that's the fact that Biggie has come up through the death match ranks. The man has done things in a match that should put a normal human being down. It would put even a hype beast down. But Biggie wins. Biggie comes out on top. He's Biggie Biggs because of his size. To me, he's Biggie Biggs because of his heart. The man does not give up. He does not lose easily. So this is going to be a really, really good fight. Not a wrestling match, but a fight.
And these are the first round matches. So that, sorry, Ben, but that banger is going to be one of the first 4 matches that the fans will get to see that night.
And again, I agree with one of the other guys, Ben.
Technical difficulty. What?
Sorry.
I'm waiting for you.
Well, we'll say this. We'll say this sooner or later. The Dodge does have sense sometimes.
Would you say 2 cents?
At least they were free.
I don't know about all that, but so.
Okay, so Deontay King Ford has a shout out to the Relentless guys. So
I'll be
Appreciate that.
telling you about
Deontay.
Thank you.
him.
okay, Dodge, be nice again. Remember, you are outnumbered.
Well, I agreed with these two down here, but that short bald one over there at the end, I don't know. Sir, let me
Hang
think
on,
of
Dodge,
it.
before you ask a question. They go. Deontay goes, "Yo, Dodge, I don't think they know about the Black King yet. Would you like
to know about the Black King, or should
you
I
like to tell
message
them?
you afterwards?
Would you like to tell them?
If this is I'm assuming this is a wrestler. Let's save any lengthy outsider talk for at least at the end, if not for another time. Let's talk about what's on the
Definitely.
table.
Well, what's on the table is you don't have big money talent Jimmy Mayhem. By the way, since he is back, whoever wins your SoCal Heavyweight Championship, they better look behind them, because there will be Mayhem coming back very shortly. Guarantee that.
You know, it's
And
funny
just-
how Dodge is very brave when he's in a tiny little box.
So that's most of his life, right?
Keyboard warrior.
And last I checked, Dodge, you were kicked out of that promotion.
Not yet.
But
It won't
Dodge is
happen.
usually in a tiny little box. So I mean, so what's the difference? He puts himself in the box.
But wait a minute, you were kicked out of the tournament because didn't your guy? Correct me if I'm wrong. Lose.
Well, that's
Next
before or after he got knocked on his ass.
Next question.
Go ahead, Nate. Ask a question.
And yes, Duke Lawrence, we do see your comments in the comment section. We're not ignoring you. Dodge just likes to talk.
Oh boy, does he? Well, what does Duke have to say? Let's not that slip by.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but I'm going to extend an invitation to Mr. Duke Lawrence. The man's big. He calls himself the hype beast. Anytime he wants to go and post his thoughts in a video format or write them down, send them by smoke signal, we're all ready to hear him.
Carrier pigeon.
I mean, you've got the ball. Run with that ball and tell us what you're thinking. All right. We want to hear.
So there are a few comments. So give me a minute, and I'll paste them all together. He says he's the more athletic than anybody in your tournament, and he actually, I believe, he's talking 2 champions. So he's got the Destination 6 current versus Pro Battleborn champion in Vegas, and then he goes 2 family men fighting. My kids need to eat 2. And then he goes, I've beaten him before.
I did not know that.
So let's back that up a little bit since you're going down his comments.
Break it down.
In my opinion, Duke Lawrence, while it is a known fact, he is the largest man in this tournament, physically largest man. I myself am 6'2", 385 pounds. I stand next to Duke Lawrence and I feel small. That takes a big person to do that. But
No doubt.
Jordan Oasis is by no doubt the most athletic man in this tournament. I've been a fan of his for 2 years. And in 2 years, he's done nothing but get better. He just graduated from the New Japan Pro Wrestling LA Dojo class. That was an invite-only class. He got that invite, and he graduated from that class. The entire world has got to get used to the name Jordan Oasis because it's going to be in everybody's mouth for a while. So, Duke, you're the biggest. He's the most athletic.
Now, I think Duke may be the more athletic in that opening contest with Biggie. But otherwise, Ben, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's for sheer athleticism. This is not a knock on any of these men. These are the 8 biggest, baddest, and best guys to rule a squared circle.
Except Mikey.
Not taking anything. Can somebody unplug him? Not taking anything away from the combat experience and tools and weapons that these other guys bring. Oasis is by a comfortable margin the most purely athletic in this tournament.
Well, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, Duke. I just don't think you have the staying power that Biggie does. And I'll make that a fact.
That surprises me a little bit after what we got to see yesterday, Bear, but I won't argue with you too much.
How big is that gas tank?
Yep.
Duke just said I'm willing to put that to the test.
I certainly hope so. And the winner, somebody's already won that match, and it's the crowd that's not even in the building yet.
Well,
And they haven't paid for their tickets.
Hold on real quick. Let's tease this a little. Let's talk about that potential second round matchup. All right.
Second round? Yeah. Can you tell me a story? Tell us a story.
All right. So we got Biggie versus Duke.
Right.
In one half of the bracket there. And then we also have, now, Billy, correct me if I'm wrong because I don't have my notes. We also have in that same half of the bracket, C-Love and Mikey's match.
Yep.
So we could potentially see Duke Lawrence, the hype beast, versus Mikey O'Shea, the Irish juggernaut. I don't like the word banger. I think it's overused and overplayed as Hotel California on the radio. So I'm willing to say if we get Mikey O'Shea and Duke Lawrence, that's a banger.
You just said it.
If we get C-Love versus Biggie Biggs, C-Love has 15 years of experience, but he's still that unknown factor. He hasn't made that name. Biggie Biggs will be coming out of a war with Duke Lawrence. We talked about Duke's gas tank. I know how big Biggie's gas tank is. Either way, that second round matchup, whichever man advances to that second round matchup, is going to have a test in front of them.
I agree, but Ben, both me and you have seen Biggie in death matches, and he just kept going. So that's the horse I'm backing. Put it that way.
Well, as is fitting for as you put it, Ben, a tournament for the preeminent singles title in Southern California wrestling, the best matches are the ones that haven't been put together yet. Once the chaff has been loosened, there's no dead weight here, just a lot of weight. But once that first tournament field is cleared, the second round matches, the semifinal round matches, are the story of the night. So anyway, that kind of
it's like
you guys are
it's like Coffin
about
said.
Vito
No,
and
it's like Coffin said. Coffin said, "This is the land of giants that we're in right now, and we're just gonna see how much flesh gives to the ring."
But the one word that keeps coming to my mind about this tournament from a fan and an audience perspective is intimidating. If you look at everybody that's in the tournament, they are very intimidating people. And I saw that match with Duke Lawrence and God King, and I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years, and there's a lot of things that people do to hype themselves up. He at one point turned to the turnbuckle and headbutted the turnbuckle 3 times to, to
You
pump
got to get
himself
rid,
up.
you gotta
Yeah.
get rid of that energy somehow. I mean,
I'm sorry.
He was doing the old school hook up.
You guys are forgetting Vito and Twisted. Nobody brought that up. Why?
we haven't got there
We're
yet.
not forgetting.
Oh my!
We're not forgetting. We haven't, like Billy just said, we haven't got to that point.
That's not true. That's not true. We actually were addressing that particular match, and we somehow went by the wayside. Did we not give that? Well, no, we did not give that one its due. We actually sang the praises of Southern Arizona title holder Twisted, but we forget the man who has. I'm not sure what he's currently holding, but he's held heavyweight titles in a number of lucha federations, including one a couple hours north of us here in SoCal. But Vito Fratelli's last match of note in my mind was for a heavyweight championship against Alexander Hammerstone. I've seen footage. I have not seen the whole match. I've seen footage, and I've seen still, photos. And I'm just glad I don't have to insure the ring or the building or anything like that for a match like that. We have some that'll probably be like that, but that's still to come. Hammerstone and Vito. What can you say about that?
I don't know. Vito's the type of person that you keep on hitting him, and his smile gets bigger. It's like he enjoys the pain. He just enjoys the revelry in it, and it just seems like the more he gets hit, the happier he gets hit. So I think Twisted is gonna have a real hassle with Vito, put it that way, and let's just say it's like the Clash of the Titans, and we'll just find out who's gonna be standing at the end.
Well, we've thrown out a few accolades here amongst the talent, and again, everyone is on this card for a reason. We've talked about the biggest. We've talked about the most athletic. Vito, pound for pound, in my opinion, is the strongest. We've had Twisted grace our nightmares before by coming to our ring. I don't think Twisted is used to being manhandled and ragdolled the way Vito can do this. I think it's going to take Twisted by surprise and put Twisted off his game enough for Vito to get the 1, 2, 3.
Yes, sir.
All righty then. Happy Dodge. Did we go round and round on that particular contest enough for you?
You did a good job, Billy.
No, it wasn't me, but all right. Thank you.
Tony.
That's a lot of heavy breathing over there,
that's a lot of
Dodge.
heavy breathing, Dodge.
We can't. Okay, good. We can see one of your hands because I was getting kind of nervous.
Hey, Nathan, why don't you ask me a question
Yeah, good idea.
while a big money takes a break?
I'm trying to ask the question, but I just got some bad pictures coming through my head.
I
Oh,
think
Lord.
we all do.
So, who were your guys' wrestling heroes growing up?
Mine, and I've said it a bunch of times, it was Dusty Rhodes and Lou Albano, Captain Lou Albano. And the two reasons were they weren't the most in shape guys. They weren't the most pretty, but they always brought it. And they had the biggest mouths, they had the biggest charisma, and they were always there, and they always took it for pound to pound in that ring. That is the biggest reason. Those are my two heroes.
So I'm going to actually give someone who's not a hero, but the person who hooked me on wrestling. I was 5 years old at the Long Beach Arena. I don't remember the card who put it on, but I remember Blackjack Lanza was in one of the matches, and he came out. In my mind, there was a railing that went all the way over the entry point, and that way the fans could stick their hands through, almost like the old style steel cage, and try and touch the wrestlers. Realistically, it's probably just a bike rack guardrail. Because again,
you were a little kid after all.
Yeah.
Right.
What I vividly remember from that, though, is Blackjack is coming down there with that bull rope with the cowbell on it, and he's whipping at the fans' hands, trying to touch them.
Wow.
And that rope came down right in front of my wrist. He didn't hit me, but he left a mark.
Nice. Very well said.
Wow.
Wow. When I was a kid, and I mean a kid, and this would be pretty much the 80s. When it came to wrestling, I was every bit a kid. So I wasn't a fan of the very kind of wrestling that I absolutely love and idolize now. As a kid, I didn't know it existed. The cartoon was all I knew. The then WWF, Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, etc., etc. But so that's where my first hero, again, kind of like Ben said, for lack of a better word, and hugely unpopular opinion. In fact, two of my heroic picks will be, but the Ultimate Warrior was my first, I guess, wrestling hero. The intensity, and when you're, I was actually probably starting to come of age. I was probably in my late childhood, early teens when Warrior was on top, but he's just intense. And when you look at it again through the eyes of a kid in the 80s, it was a shoot back then. I mean, it wasn't, but it was real. And the Ultimate Warrior destroyed everyone in his path, including at some point Hulk Hogan. To me, that was just like Mike Tyson's tear through the heavyweight boxing ranks a few years before that. He was indestructible. Which, fast forward, I mean, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, check all your boxes. As a fan of all, and especially the most traditional wrestling, absolutely, like Bear said, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes can do no wrong in my eyes. But even from my current spot of fandom and knowing what I know, in keeping with the Ultimate Warrior vein, to this day, although I wish he would have stayed retired years ago, Goldberg. Again, I like the Destroyers. I like the guy who ragdoll, smash, stack, and pin whoever is in front of them.
To quote that T-shirt that everyone seems to like, the big meaty men slapping meat. That's what you like up there,
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. We actually had at our last show, Building Empires, back in April, we actually had an up and coming local independent warrior who very much embodies the spirit of Warrior and much, much more closely Goldberg in Matthias.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what I got for heroes.
Very nice.
Tony.
Okay, so I'm just gonna steer this back around real quick, just because I know time is valuable and people have got other things to do. So let's run down your guys' card one last time and get your guys' final thoughts.
Okay. Who either one of you guys want to do that, or you want me to take that one?
Go ahead, Ben.
Go ahead, Ben.
Well,
I guess that's on you, Ben.
let's let Billy run down the card, and then I want to
Okay.
change things just a little.
Okay.
As you hit the card, Billy, even though we know that Dodge's opinion is worth the paper money it's printed on, I would like to hear from our host who they think will take these matches.
So you want to hear a winning pick from each individual match from our hosts.
I would like that. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what match they're looking forward to. And, we've talked about this a lot, and we're going to keep talking about this a lot. But this is our first podcast. They've been very gracious to have us on their show, which gentlemen, thank you for inviting us here. We very much want to know what you guys are looking forward to. And that way it gives us a little bit more of a blueprint to make Relentless Pro Wrestling, even though there were new kids on the new kid on the block, to make us the most popular kid on the block.
Absolutely.
Here. All right. Well, I just let me start off by saying these matches are going to be reiterated in no particular order. This being a tournament and a one-night tournament, there is no levels to the card here. It doesn't matter who, as the fanboys say, is jerking the curtain. It doesn't matter who's high or low on the card until the final, obviously, so these matches are not in any priority, in any favor. Just literally as they come to me. These are the the 4 first round tournament matches. We'll start with C Love and the Irish Juggernaut, Mikey O'Shea.
Nathan, would you or I like to start this one, because we know where Dodge stands?
Yeah, I'll go with that one. Because Mikey did a lot of stuff for WCWC down here in Portland, I'm a lot more familiar with Mikey O'Shea and like his body of work. So I would have to go with Mikey O'Shea, just because I think he has the intensity, especially in some of his other promos that he's done, in like the past few years, few months, that I think that's going to make him a very strong contender in this tournament.
Hard to argue.
For the same reasons as Nathan, I fell in love with the Irish Juggernaut back as a kid when we were watching WCWC. I fell in love with him even more when he sent our illustrious co-host man into him and sending him off the ring. So again, I agree with my host, Nathan, the Irish Juggernaut, Mikey O'Shea.
Wow, we're definitely beating the underdog C Love drum here. I'm never counting C Love out. Literally, like he is my come from behind pick, but can't argue with any of that. So is that?
I can. You don't have Jimmy. That does not look like Jimmy.
It definitely does not look like Jimmy.
but Dodge, didn't they say they would like to hear from the hosts and not Dodge's opinion, because
they already know your opinion?
Who said that?
Go ahead, Mr. Dodge. We're so sorry for cutting you off.
Not really.
We'll get our revenge soon, Mikey. But honestly, I hate saying this. I'm going to agree with Billy Bonds, C Love, because he's the underdog in this match. I'm going to go with C Love. You're welcome.
Finally, Dodge makes sense.
And I feel
It's a rarity, but it happens.
Every once in a while.
Does that cover C Love and Mr. O'Shea?
Yep.
Yes, it does.
All right, our next first round tournament match: Jordan Oasis and the God King.
Ooh. Go ahead, guys.
In my opinion, I have to go with the God King. Something happens to that guy when he puts the face paint on. And
The war paint.
I hate to keep using the word intensity, but like the intensity in him when he puts that face paint on, it's probably going to be a little bit more than Mr. Oasis can handle. So, I mean, no offense to you. I mean, obviously, but.
Okay.
Again, I hate to agree with the host, but God King.
Okay, I think everybody then will probably be surprised, not necessarily at the outcome, but at what Jordan Oasis is able to handle.
I'm going to say this again. Everyone needs to get familiar with the name Jordan Oasis. They're going to be using the name a lot.
We didn't hear your opinion, Dodge. So what do you think about this one?
I want to say God King. I've seen him in the ring, and I think I'm going to go God King.
Unanimous.
Well, this has to be a historical occasion because this is the first day since I've known Dodge that he's made any sense ever.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And not just once, but multiple times.
Yes, yes.
Don't encourage the man.
I think
maybe he's actually growing as a person.
Unlike his hair.
Are we sure he's
Unlike
feeling
his
okay?
hair.
Because he never agrees with us.
But I do have to say this about Oasis, though. The fact that you brought up that he got invited to that LA dojo for New Japan is incredibly impressive to me because that doesn't happen unless you're high up there on.
All right. Are we ready for the third first round SoCal Heavyweight Championship Tournament match?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. Let's go with Vito Fratelli, the Sicilian powerhouse, versus the Southern Arizona heavyweight champion, Twisted.
Go ahead,
Sounds
Dodge.
like an ICP concert. Forget about it. I've known Vito so much longer than I've known Twisted. I know Vito can just demolish Twisted. It'll be a hell of a match, but Vito all the way. If not, I guess I'll have spaghetti or something just to make him happy. I don't know. Vito.
Nate.
Understood.
As much as this pains me, unless he pays me to agree with him next time, I'm gonna have to agree with and I'm not talking about the fake money.
Oh, okay.
So I would have to agree with Dodge on Vito for the sense of I saw the same clips that Billy saw with him and Hammerstone, and the fact that he lifted him in a pop-up powerbomb and caught him with no effort that tells me that that's impressive to me and a little bit scary. I'm not gonna lie. So that to me tells me that I gotta go with Vito on that one.
And once
All right.
again, it pains me and it scares me. The three of us agree.
I did not pay them to agree with me. I'm
Did
just
we hear
letting you
from
know.
all three of you yet on this particular match?
I just agreed with the host and co-host, and again, I think one of us is sick because this never happens.
All right. You know
It's
what?
well-
No, it's us. We're the glue. I'm taking
what
that.
it is.
I'm taking that.
No.
That's not submitted for approval. We are the glue.
Real quick here. We've already said the Sicilian Powerhouse is the strongest, physically strongest in the tournament. Relentless Pro Wrestling, we're all about our community. We're all about the community there in Orange, California. The Orange Circle is our home.
Yep.
We have some great friends just down the road from us, Zito's Pizza. So Big Vito, if he loses, I'll take him to Zito's for a pizza to console him.
There you go.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. All right.
And then we'll go over to Chapman Brewery and have a beer.
Chapman Crafted Brewery.
Chapman Crafted.
Now, our final, last but oh my God, not least, first round SoCal Heavyweight Championship Tournament match is Big Duke Lawrence and Big E Biggs. I think this one is big.
Ha ha. Knee slapper.
Nathan.
So I have to go with Big Duke Lawrence on this one. I've
just
seen
because he's
him
in the
move in the
chat?
ring. Huh?
Is it just because he's in the chat?
Partly because I don't want him to find out where I live.
He's
If
watching you.
yeah, exactly. No, but I saw him against the God King in the ring, and I saw the way he moved. For a big man and the quickness that he has. And again, that headbutting thing in the corner kind of, was intimidating to me. So I'm gonna have to go with Big Duke Lawrence on this one.
Okay.
Dodge.
This is a given. Biggie Biggs. I've known the man. I've been with the man, and this guy is like a legend in the business to me. And Biggie Biggs all day.
He might be the only one in this whole business and this whole sport that you haven't pissed off and alienated.
Don't. Yeah.
Wait for it.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
I'm being good.
I think Dodge was about to say to be patient that he'll get to it. So go ahead.
Exactly.
So, in order to break the tie here, and Mr. Lawrence, please don't take this the wrong way. Please come on our podcast if you ever want to be interviewed. Great dude, but I have to agree with Dodge. Biggie Biggs.
Duh. Yeah.
And Mr. Lawrence, if you want to hit me up in the comments, I can give you Anthony's address so you could talk to him personally about that pick.
Well, you got one distinction, both of you now, besides Dodge, because I won't protect his ass, but I'll protect you both. Don't worry about that.
I got you.
Very cool.
That is Bear the Enforcer weighing in.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Does that wrap up that particular match?
Yes.
Those particular matches, yes.
If you guys have our gracious and glorious hosts, if you guys have something else or a particular way you want to see us out, I'm all about it. I do ask a little bit of leeway to do something. It's a little dry. It's kind of like the disclaimer at the bottom of the TV ad that you can hardly read, but it's
The sponsors.
No.
Oh,
Nice try though.
sorry.
But
I'll
it's
shut up.
very, very important to what we're about and especially this tournament to determine our champion. Will you gentlemen allow me a little bit of leeway there?
Yeah, we got a few
Absolutely.
minutes. Go ahead.
The full name that you'll almost never hear used, it's the Southern California Regional Heavyweight Championship, aka the almost 100% used SoCal Heavyweight Championship. This is not a promotional championship. While it was created and is and will be sanctioned by Relentless Pro Wrestling, you will never see our name attached to it. Hopefully everyone remembers this and nobody attaches our name to it, when they're, doing interviews and whatnot. This is a regional title. And this is where I may find myself in a little bit of trouble with my fellow owners and promoters and veteran wrestlers on the SoCal scene. The man that wins the tournament on Saturday, July 22nd at American Legion Post 132 in the city of Orange will be the heavyweight wrestling champion of Southern California, period. That's it.
And the last thing I'd like to put on all that, gentlemen, is Dodge was right. I do want to thank our sponsors, who is Velocity Bail Bonds, Villanueva's Tax Services, and Bulk Beef Jerky. Go out there, get some beef jerky, best snack in town. They'll be there on July 22nd at King's Ransom.
Really good beef jerky, by the way.
All right.
There Dodge goes agreeing again.
I'm
We're in the
sorry.
Twilight Zone, man. Dodge is making sense.
Just now I'm up
It's
to
like
4
the
cents,
Twilight
by the
Zone.
way. 4 cents. I'm up 4
Anything from you,
cents.
Ben?
What's that?
No, I just, again, I want to thank you guys for being gracious enough with your time to have us on your podcast. Actually, I do have something. We mentioned this briefly in our press conference. Everyone knows I have a love of raffles. Particularly, I have a love of winning raffles. AWS Promotions and
So does Bill Chew.
was my home for years. I'm hosting a raffle. Relentless Pro Wrestling. We are hosting our very first raffle on July 22nd at a King's Ransom. And the items on that we're going to be raffling off are things from my life in event security.
That hammer?
I have gotten certain things that are not eligible or available to the public. And my life in event security, I work everything from high school proms to certain award shows that are done on a certain colored carpet every year that will remain nameless. So it is that high-end carpet that comes into play here. And over the next few weeks, we will show you the items that will be up for auction when it comes to this show. So again, thanks for having us, folks. It's been a blast. Duke Lawrence, we see you and can't wait for July 22nd.
I got one more shameless plug for myself. Be sure to come out July 22nd and celebrate my birthday with me too. That
Happy
is
birthday, brother.
Blair's birthday. Appreciate it.
Right
Happy
on.
birthday.
Then happy
Yeah,
early
just-
birthday from us.
Yes.
Thank you,
And,
gentlemen.
yeah, just like Ben said, guys, thank you so much for having us. An absolute pleasure to be here. We should probably do this again and maybe again. Otherwise, Saturday, July 22nd at the American Legion Post 132 in the city of Orange. A King's Ransom, the SoCal Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Thank you again, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You.
And we can do this again.
Absolutely.
Anytime we can pick on Dodge, is a place for us.
Not only pick
Oh,
on
that-
Dodge, but have some thought-provoking conversations about
Exactly.
wrestling. So that's
But
Yeah, and then that's why Dodge can't be in the same room with me too long because I just chew him out too much. He just walks away. He gets tired of me.
but in a term of Big Money Dodge, I know your guys' time is money, so we appreciate you guys coming on. And for myself, for Nathan, and for the often slammed Big Money Dodge today, we'll see you guys next time.
All
Thank you,
right.
gentlemen.
much.
Have a good day.
Thank you.